with Coach Thomas Ryan of the Dorman Cavaliers. Dorman's hosting the Farm Bureau Classic. We're just going to talk a little bit about what are you most looking forward to in this year's tournament?
Well, we're just looking forward to some great individual talent along with some of the top programs in the Southeast. This is the 9th annual Farm Bureau Insurance Classic, and we've just had an incredible opportunity to bring in some top players and teams. The alumni in this tournament's been outstanding. I mean, South Carolina and Clemson's best players this year. Jerron Blossomgame brought his team from Georgia here. Sendarius Thornwell brought his Lancaster team. L.J. Peak here locally, now at Georgetown, played in this tournament. Then you look at a couple of North Carolina players in Kennedy Meeks and Brandon Robinson, a freshman there, both played in this tournament. Devontae Schuler from Irmo, now at Oak Hill, committed to Ole Miss as an alumni in this tournament. So just all in all, when you look at that, it's neat to watch them on TV and realize, hey, they played here in our Farm Bureau Insurance Classic, which has really turned into one of the top high school holiday tournaments in the country. We get calls from throughout the country to come, and so we look forward to continuing to build, and we're appreciative of Farm Bureau Insurance and how much they've put into this tournament to make it a premier high school basketball tournament.
Well, you get calls from all over the country, and for the most part, you do bring in a lot of teams from outside the area. But this year, it looks like you've got a few more teams from the area than you normally would. What's with the increase in that?
Well, the increase is honestly basketball in our area is really rising. Okay, the teams Burns won the 4A state championship last year. They'll be coming back, led by Hayden Brown, who's committed to the Citadel. We feel like Bowling Springs is an up-and-coming program. They've got one of the top sophomores in the state of South Carolina, and Zach Baldinelli. We feel like with Coach Hal McManus that they're going to be really good. And then Spartanburg Day School, Zion Williamson, some publications having the #1 junior in the entire country. So, when we look locally, we also have Spartanburg High School, who traditionally has been an outstanding high school basketball program. We feel like we've got a team that can compete this year, and we're excited about our guys. So all in all, the local teams just have risen to a level that we can compete on a national, and that's exciting. And that local flair, along with bringing in teams from 8 states, really make this year an exciting opportunity. Some great matchups.
Well, and finally, what work goes into putting on such a good tournament year in and year out, and how do you improve it and kind of make it better each year?
Well, one of the things that we do, first of all, it starts with Farm Bureau Insurance, Founders, and Bojangles. Those are our 3 main sponsors that just do incredible jobs. A lot of our local restaurants chip in to feed the teams. Our volunteer base is over 125 people that are host families. That's one thing that we do. Each team will have a host family for their 3-day stay to help them with their meals. We've got a great partnership with the Marriotts. We feel like we're putting the teams up in the nicest hotel here in Spartanburg. So along with that first-class hospitality, that's what we hear these teams, as they leave, they want to come back because they feel like, hey, you took great care of us. And then obviously the level of basketball people like to play. I think we had 52 colleges in attendance last year, so we continue to get the top of the top. And when you get some of these sophomores and juniors that hadn't committed, like a Zion Williamson, it's going to be fun to see Laws in the gym December 28th through 30th. It really is.
All right, Coach, let's talk about the first game of the day. It's the first game in the Founders Credit Union bracket. Shiloh out of Georgia versus Ridgeview.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup. Shiloh comes back defending a championship from last year. They beat our Dorman squad in the championship game pretty handily. Really good Shiloh team. They did lose a guard to Georgia Tech, but returned T.J. Massenberg, who's committed to Middle Tennessee State, along with Shamar McLeod, another Division I prospect, against a good Ridgeview team out of Columbia, South Carolina. Has a new coach. Coach Stoneman came from Oak Hill Academy, a factory there in Virginia. So he's really bringing some positive energy around that Ridgeview program. Should just be a good way to start game 1 there at 10 a.m.
The second game of the day, it's Hillcrest versus St Petersburg out of Florida. What do you expect out of that matchup?
Well, another good one. Hillcrest, a local team out of Greenville, coming over. This is the second or third straight year they've come. They've got a really tough matchup there in the first round. St Petersburg, who made the finals in 7A in Florida last year, returns a couple of really good guards, led by A.J. Ford, who's committed to Richmond. Also Darius Banks, who's got offers from Missouri, South Florida. And then they've also got another junior guard, Sorrell Smith, offers from Wyoming, South Florida. So again, 3 Division I guards, forwards there for St. Petersburg, makes them an awful tough team in this tournament in that Founders bracket. But Hillcrest Athletic always brings a good group in. Again, picked at the top of their region in 5A now, so it should be a good matchup there in game 2 of the Farm Bureau Insurance Classic.
All right, Coach. Third game of the day, all South Carolina affair, Dutch Fork versus Spartanburg.
Yeah, I mean, that should be great. We're excited about Dutch Fork coming up. Preseason ranked number 2 in 5A. They're led by senior Jordan Davis, who's committed to Dayton. And then they also have a up-and-rising sophomore in Deuce Dean that Wake Forest, Virginia Tech is getting a lot of Power 5 interest. So they bring a ball club in here that really may be as good a South Carolina team as we've got. And then they play a Spartanburg team that traditionally every year Coach Ford puts out a group that'll be a little bit young this year, but very athletic, talented, and they've been a mainstay in our tournament. We're excited that they're back and know that they'll be a formidable opponent.
All right, the 2:30 game is the first game out of the Bojangles bracket. Gaston Day versus Bullis out of Maryland.
Yeah, first out of state, there's not an in-state team there for that 2:30 game. Gaston Day is out of Gastonia, North Carolina, a private school there, very good. Nate Hinton, Jr., has offers from Creighton, Georgia Southern, College of Charleston, just an all-around really good player. And they've got a couple other players that are getting Division I recruitment. Know that they're well coached. Trent McAllister, head coach there, does a fantastic job. And then Bullis out of Potomac, Maryland, first school we've had from Maryland come down. Coach Bruce Kelly has 3 or 4 players that always play college basketball, one of the best all-around programs in the country. Coach Kelly's been part of the McDonald's All-American game, so we're glad to get them down here and kind of expand into the Northeast, but that should be a great matchup at 2:30.
Game 5 on the day, second game out of the Bojangles bracket, Bowling Springs versus Newton out of Georgia.
Yeah, excited to have Bowling Springs come. Coach Hal McManus bringing his group over here for the first time. We feel like that program and the invite is really an up-and-rising program with a sophomore guard, Zach Ballinelli, one of the best sophomores in the state, already being recruited. USC Upstate really likes him, talking to their coaches this week. But they're in the first round. They'll have a very tough matchup against a Newton High School team that out of Georgia that very well ranked number 3 in 7A in Georgia right now, but very well may be one of the best teams in the state of Georgia. Led by Ashton Hagens, which is a sophomore top 40, being recruited by everybody in the country. He's a can't miss. You got to see him play Newton High School. That'll be an exciting game there. And Bowling Springs will be a good opponent for them there. A great matchup with 2 young guards.
Game 6 is at 5:30, December 28th. I got Landstown out of Virginia versus the defending 4A champion Burns High School.
Yeah, Burns has been in our tournament the last few years. Coach Lane Fowler does a great job. They're preseason number 8 in 5A in the state, led by Hayden Brown going to the Citadel. So we know Burns, again, is going to bring a great ball club over here. And they're playing a Landstown team out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, led by Mike Christmas, underclassman guard with multiple Division I offers, and continuing to see his recruiting profile expand. So that should be a great matchup there at 5:30.
Game 7 at 7 o'clock sees Keenan out of the Midlands versus your preseason ranked number 1 Dorman Cavaliers.
Yeah, we look at that matchup as a great matchup. Keenan, a perennial power in the Midlands and even South Carolina basketball. Zach Norris has won multiple state championships there. He's got a great guard in Tariq Simmons that we feel like really give us a great gauge on where we are in the tournament. That's why we play this tournament. When we talk about our team, we're excited about some of the players we have, some guys real proud of. Zach Butler's committed to Ohio, really does present matchup problems for defenses. Tay Cannon has committed to Catawba. Junior 6'9" center Gabe Bryant getting a lot of Division I recruitment. Georgia Southern has offered, among others. So we really like our team, but we realize we want to test our mettle against some of the best, and Keenan definitely does that night 1.
Final game of the evening, it's Pelham out of Alabama versus Spartanburg Day School. And the Griffins have probably one of the best talents we've seen in this area since, Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen?
It's been a long time, and you're right. Zion Williamson leads that Spartanburg Day Griffin team in here, 8:30, a marquee matchup. And, hey, we're not going to disappoint. Round 1 is going to be an awesome matchup against Pelham High School out of Pelham, Alabama, led by Alex Reese, who's committed to the University of Alabama. So, again, like you said, in that nightcap, we feel like we've got 2 of the best teams in the tournament and the 2 top talents possibly in the tournament, or 2 of amongst the top talents, because we feel like this year's field may be as strong as we've ever had. But a great matchup there, Zion Williamson and his Spartanburg Day Club versus Alex Reese and Pelham. Should be a great one.